Bernardino de Sahagún wrote the Florentine Codex between 1540 and 1580, a series of 12 books that documents detailed accounts of Aztec culture after Spanish conquest. Book 11 briefly mentions the dog of the Aztecs. In a 1963 translation by Charles Dibble and Arthur Anderson, Sahagún describes the following, and I quote, "Its pet names are Xochcocoyotl and Tetlami and Tuitzotl. Some are black, some white, some ashen, some smoky, some dark yellow, some dark, some spotted like ocelots. Some are high, tall, towering, some medium. Some are smooth, some shaggy, woolly. The muzzles are large, with large, small, pointed teeth. The ears are pointed, concave, hairy, shaggy. The head is round, bowl-shaped. It has a body, fat, thick. It has claws, long claws. It is domesticated, a house dweller, a favorite companion, a constant companion, which follows running. It is happy, amusing, a tail wagger, a barker, which lays its ears back. It barks. It is happy. It lays its ears back. It wags its tail." Close quote. He also writes 3 names of different kinds of dogs, breeds. The Tehuí, which is shiny, hairless, fat, and smooth. The Xoloitzcuintle, which is hairless. And the Talchiche, a small, squat, round dog. When I first found my Chihuahua Azul in Lavernia, Texas, I knew she had an old soul. It was as if she were waiting for me, as if she were saying, "What took you so long to get here?" I thought her eyes recognized me, even scolded me for not being more astute to her every need. She was a diva from the beginning. She knows what she wants and doesn't care what you think. She's one of my own. In pre-Columbian myth, Quetzalcoatl and his twin, Xolotl, were the protectors of life and all living things, the morning and evening star and the conquerors of death. After the Great Flood, all of the earth was barren and empty. No humans toiled or hunted because they were desperately lost, and their image was buried deep in the underworld, the inframundo, Mictlan. These lost men were guarded by Mictlantecuhtli and the female counterpart, Mictlantecuhtli. Quetzalcoatl and Xolotl, through great trials, carried the living bone from which all man is made, from the underworld, from Mictlan to heaven. And from heaven, and by the help of the gods, man was resurrected to live again. So to prevent man from ever getting lost again in the shadows of the underworld, Xolotl created a protector and a guide in his own image, made from the sliver of the bone of life. And into the bone of life, Xolotl breathed his knowledge of heaven and the underworld. Xolotl gave this gift to man with the instruction to guard it with his life. And in exchange, it would guide man through the dangers of Mictlan, the world of death, and also towards the evening star in the heavens. This guide given to man from Xolotl himself is the naked dog, the Xoloitzcuintle. Chihuahuas were also a part of worship, ritual, and ceremony in addition to everyday domestication. Not only were they supposed to guide the voyage of the souls into heaven and the underworld, or to lead them out, they were also believed to cleanse the sins of man. If a Chihuahua were burned with its owner at death, the Chihuahua was believed to take the sins away from the wayward soul. Tracing the Chihuahua bloodline is like tracing any family tree. For example, both of my grandfathers were born in Mexico. One was born in Burgos, Mexico, in Tamaulipas, and the other was born in Piedras Negras, Mexico, in Coahuila. Before that, I know that on one side of the family, the Treviños, came from Burgos, Spain, in the Basque region, and no one really knows what to make of the Basque. I was looking up canine genetics and doing this research, and even scientists seem at a loss for the Chihuahua, the same way ultimately scientists seem at a loss for pinpointing the exact origins of the beginning of man. In the books and journals I researched, scientists, anthropologists, Mesoamerican scholars agree that the Chihuahua more than likely has its roots in China. There are some unchecked sources who believe that Chihuahua actually has its roots in Africa, with the hairless African Terrier. But even with all this uncertainty, it makes perfect sense to me, at least, that what is now the Chihuahua would ultimately be a Mexican dog, an enclave of Euro-Asian genomes destined to make their way to warmer weather. I found that the search for the history of the Chihuahua reminded me of any time I searched for my own family history. Lots of hearsay, lots of maybes, lots of seemings, lots of assumptions. This tribe migrated to Italy, and some stayed, and some came back. My boyfriend is a writer, and he wrote a book about his family's secrets, the Santos family, and the mystery behind his grandfather's suicide, how no one really wanted to talk about it. And at the end of all his searching and his luxurious poetic aesthetic that he takes you through, he thinks he finds out the answer, but he's still not sure. What I love about Chihuahuas is their fearlessness. They're not afraid of anything, regardless of their size. And if they don't let you near them, it's probably because they don't like you. I've always wondered about the relationship between Mexicans and Chihuahuas. I mean, the Germans have their shepherds and their Rottweilers, the English have their very dainty spaniels and hounds, and Mexicans have the Chihuahua.
What is that? Go get it.
I'm more interested in why once the Xoloescuincle found its home in Mesoamerica, and even after the Toltecs, the Mayans, and the Aztecs all met their ominous fate, I wonder why it stayed.